Happy New Year, everybody. BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, I figured I'd give myself a quick therapy session. I don't think this video will be too long. Got some food in the oven. Gonna do that. Um, yeah, just want to kind of chime in on how things are going. Hopefully, all of you guys had a great New Year. I stayed in the house, in bed, because quite honestly, I've been somewhat sick. I don't know if it's the big old virus. I don't know, but it was a combination of things, I think. For me, I think it was the injury that I had that I told you guys about a couple days ago. Um, Doing certain types of exercises inconsistently, um, that I used to do regularly, almost daily. Trying to do the same reps and stuff like that always gets me in trouble. And even though my body can do the exercises, I end up getting injured. And it's happened what 5-6 times this year because I've been inconsistent with my workouts. So for 2022, I woke up this morning like saying, okay, we're going to start the process of trying to rekindle that energy that we had 2 years ago and beyond, for the past 7 years, where I would work out 5 days a week and be relentless about the consistency. And in that time, I never felt like I felt these last 5 days. I never had some of the skin issues and some of the things that I had been going through. They just would have been handled differently because I would have been sharper. And so I know that about myself. I have been home. One of the reasons why I wanted to be home was so I could do these workouts more consistently, and I just allowed myself to not do that. You couple that, with stress, and your health goes by the wayside. You couple that with your body changing and having different allergies to various things, and it just became a very bad health year for me. Even though I was losing weight and able to kind of get my shape back to the way I like it to be, because when I was working at that other job, in the previous year and a half, I had gained weight, wasn't eating right, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I want to do this year, is just get myself back on track, work on my health, and try to see to it that I don't feel like I've been feeling these last 5 days, because this has been terrible, like really bad. And that's one of the reasons why I wasn't doing as many videos, and when I was doing videos, they were in bed because I felt like crap. But I felt great this morning doing my workout. I spent about an hour on it. Didn't do too much, but my body's solid. My head is still heavy, but I actually think that has something to do with the weed I'm smoking too. It's kind of hard to tell. Every batch is different, even though you buy the same stuff. This one is really, really dense and really heavy on the indica. So if my eyes are heavy, that's exactly why. But all in all, this weed keeps me sharp, and that's why I smoke it. But yeah, not the greatest batch. Not really, no. But either way, so I'm wondering how much that contributes to how I've been feeling. It's just a real drag. But anyway, aside from that, I also woke up this morning, very thankful. One of the things I learned last year about myself is that, my faith, when I stand on my faith, it tends to work in my favor. When I don't ask for specifics, I tend to be happier with the results of whatever comes my way, just in general, because you're not only removing your expectations, but in my opinion, you also give the universe more to work with. A lot of times I would ask for specific things, and they maybe come my way, but they wouldn't come in soon enough, or they wouldn't come in the form that I thought they would, or maybe what came with them wasn't any good. Relationships and stuff like that I believe so much in, a relationship wasn't what I should have been doing. I should have been focused on other things. Now, had I been asking for gifts, in my opinion, instead of specifics, give me this specific thing, I would have opened myself to be happy with more of what I get. And then as a result, it became a situation where going through AMC's debacle last year and being so intent on praying, please squeeze this thing or what have you, it just came to a point where it's like, throughout the process of waiting for this, I started realizing that, I was unhappy on the inside. And money would help me in certain ways, but it wasn't going to make me heal in other ways. And that's what last year did to me. It stripped all that off of me. It broke me down, and it put me in a position to understand that I don't need to want anything. I need to be doing things and asking for things in a spiritual way that brings forth many things, whatever could be, whatever is best for myself. You remove that specific, and you put yourself in a position ultimately to receive everything or nothing and be okay with it. Do you see what I'm saying? I want not only what I want, but I want the notion of understanding that what comes with what I want, I may not get, and to be fine with that. Those are the things that praying around the notion of receiving things. You know, we don't pray enough. I don't pray enough about how best to handle things when they don't work out, how best to stay focused when things are taking too long to happen. You know, patience, prayers, and things of that nature. So I learned what I want last year. You know, and most importantly, I learned to want better for myself. You know, to want better, I guess is I'm not wording it quite the way I want to, which is why I'm saying it twice, but it's more so it's like to be of better wants, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, and to enlighten myself in such a way to say the things that you're asking for, they may not be right for you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm coming into the new year just saying, Lord, I'm welcoming of gifts, and whatever comes with that is good enough. So that's where I've been at. You know, last night, you know, if you ask me what I did for the countdown, honestly, I was in a space where I was feeling really ill. You know, I wasn't feeling good. So, you know, I'd been in bed watching the Laker game, enjoyed that, and you know, about say 30 minutes before the countdown, smoked a bowl of this heavy stuff, and you know, I just came to the conclusion that I wanted to do some praying. I hadn't done a whole lot of praying that day, and just felt like the way to end a very long and tough year would be to be in prayer. And I went into the prayer thinking I was going to pray for certain things, you know, because I'd obviously been through plenty. But, you know, the only thing that really came to mind, honestly, you guys, was these last 2 years, my family has lost so much. My dad's family, we lost a niece for every January. And that's where my head went. It was like, you know, not to say, you know, please don't do this again or something like that. That's not where it went. It went to the fact that I have several nieces that I don't know, and one of them that I really don't know, but I know of, vaguely of, through Facebook. Like, and you know, she's far away from the family. She's not in the circle of the family, and she's not even within distance of myself. I don't know who she may or may not know in the family, but like, you know, she's out in the world, and I could come across her any day and she wouldn't know me. You know what I mean? But I'm literally her uncle. Her mother is my sister. So that's what that means, obviously. But anyway, so she came to mind, right? And I know that, you know, her lifestyle, from what I saw, she's like away from anything that I'm familiar with, you know, and it's like whatever she's got going on, whether it be positive or negative, that's where my head went, to that particular niece, you know, and just wondering if she has anybody else in our family praying for her, if she has a relationship with God like that, if she, whatever, you know, I don't know. She's one of many human beings I have nothing to gauge anything about. But the fact that she's my father's granddaughter, and the fact that my family is so intent on family, and the fact that I have lost 2 nieces in a row, back to back, that's where my head went, to get into deep prayer about this niece that may or may not be thought about by anybody else in our family at this moment. You understand what I'm saying? That's where my head went. And I don't even know this girl's name. I honestly don't. I saw it once when I saw her on Facebook. But this was maybe 8 years ago, you know? And so she's, like I said, she's not a part of the family. She wasn't raised in the family. She has a sister that was raised with her that I see on Facebook all the time. You know, Facebook friends with. I've never talked with her, but, you know, been following her for years. She's really, really sweet. And I know she's in a good space. I know, based on what I've seen and as well as what's being talked about, that she has connections to our family. You know, if she ever needed anything from us, she has people that she can reach to remind her that she's cared for outside of what she knows. And I don't know that her sister has that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know that she has that. And so that's where I'm like, Lord, that's who I want to pray about. That's who I'm thinking about. That's where my heart went. Just, you know, and I mind you, this is a person who has probably over 60, 70 nieces and nephews. It's massive family, like massive. And I don't know all of them. I don't even know of all of them, to be honest with you. There are some, you know, that I just have never met. But for whatever reason, in the spirit of what's already been lost in our family, my heart went straight to her. Like, you know, and look, because the family doesn't know her, it's like, I'm sure if something were to take place, it would only be but so much understanding as to how to feel, right? But that's besides the point. I don't know anybody, so everybody's a stranger to me. You see what I'm saying? So because of that relationship that I have, where most of the knowledge and the love that I have for my family is hypothetical, but not based on relationships, I see them all the same. You understand what I'm saying? This niece, that niece, they all people I don't know. So the fact that she's further out over there, you know what I'm saying? Away from the people who are close to one another, doesn't change anything for me because my relationship to everybody is the exact same way. So I'm concerned for her as her uncle. Not necessarily knowing that I should be. Just the notion that maybe no one's thinking about her. So that's where my soul went. That's it. That's literally it. And I prayed about that all the way up until 3 minutes. It was only like a 20 minute, 15 minutes prayer, It went from like 11:30 to 11:55. I was just kind of sitting there in silence, saying what I had to say to God and asking on her behalf. And then after that, kind of looked at my phone, started praying about myself, started thinking about stuff, started thanking God for stuff, and lit up another bowl, and voila, 12 o'clock. It's immediately after 12 o'clock, I looked at my phone, maybe checked my crypto. I didn't even say nothing. I put 2021 on Facebook. Literally, that was it. I didn't say happy nothing. That's how much the year did to me. I was so worn out by the year, and that's exactly what I said. After 12 o'clock, I was like, yeah, I'm exhausted. This year has taken more out of me than any year of my life, including the year where my mom lost her life and my father lost his life. Like, that was a harder year. I went through more. I had to do more. I had to go through more. It was harder lows. But last year, the difference between that and this year just passed was that I had a lot of support. I was in more circles. I was doing more things. I had my friends with me helping me move when they needed to move. I was going on trips to Vegas after my mom passed. It was a lot of stuff that happened that made the year feel like people had my back. And then I had moved into this place, so it was a lot of change going on that I could say, okay, the year wasn't slow. It was awful and it was horrible and it was sad, but it wasn't slow. Last year, it was like I was pulling teeth out of my mouth, one day at a time, for different things that I wanted to change that wasn't changing at all. My job situation, my financial situation, my health, and certain things that was happening. It was just like, I tell you, last year's New Year, I do not remember. I'm pretty certain I spent it the exact same way, but I don't remember it because it was so long ago. That's how it felt, literally. And I think about this AMC marathon. Every day was like 3 days when you're waiting for something like that to happen. And it never did. Hasn't yet, of course, but never did throughout the year. Yeah. That was unbelievably difficult. And I was making things worse on myself because I was relying upon it, making it so that I could get away from something I hated doing. And when those days kept getting longer and longer, and I kept having to do what it is I hated to do every day, it got to a point where I was so burnt out, but still stayed in place. Burnt out, but like just I'm intent. It's almost like when you get to a situation where you get, you ever see a movie where you see a spaceship and it gets too close to the sun, it's like red alert, and my head was doing that and I was still standing there in the red. I was still standing like I'm going to let this thing kill me if it has to because I can't sell any shares. And then I went nuts damn near. I did, basically. Car got repoed twice, had to handle that twice. You asked me how long it felt like since the first repo? It felt like 2 years ago. That happened in June. It felt like 2 years ago. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, that was the longest year of my life. I'm exhausted thinking about it. And that's what it was. That's what it was. It was hard, long, frustrating, torturous. And I'm glad it's over. I don't know if the struggles that I had will continue to follow me into this year. I'd imagine they will if I don't make some changes. But the point is, I went into with a certain mindset that made it so very difficult for me. Hanging my hat on the fact that something could or could not happen, and then specifically asking for that to happen and it not. It was just like, I couldn't. I crashed completely. And so all of that to say, approaching this year totally different. I may not have the best habits worked into the equation just yet. I may not necessarily see clearly as to what it is I should be doing necessarily to help myself in the short term. Still have some of these different things that I need to battle through with my mental health. But one thing I'm not doing is coming into it saying, I want this and I know what comes with it and that's what I'm going to have. It's like, no, it's more so, Lord, I'm gracious, I'm tired. Provide me what it is that you want me to have, because anything I'm going to choose is going to come with a lot worse stuff than I probably want with it. So that's the difference. It's just a mindset. And I think I'll nurse myself back to health if it's possible. If this isn't a serious illness that I'm dealing with, I know what habits I need to do. I know what type of work, eating I need to do to get myself to feeling good. And that process started this morning. So that's it, man. I'm not 100% yet, but my body sure feels a lot better. And I'm just ready for whatever the year's going to provide. Or am I? I don't know. But I'm putting myself in a position to be more so than I was. So that's what it is, man. That's my little 10 cents about the new year and my approach to it. Obviously with this channel, I'm going to continue to do what I do. Giving you NBA stuff, giving you this type of content, as well as whatever comes to mind, stuff like that. Any current topics, I'll continue to speak and let this thing grow as it does. I'll probably mention that I want likes a little more than I usually do, so that this thing can start to build and take off in whatever way it will. And see what the world's going to give us. A lot of times we go into it with plans, but we end up finding ourselves reacting to whatever the world provides for the year. So I don't know if this is that kind of year. Who knows? But one thing's for certain, I can say this with absolute certainty. The way finances work, there's a revolution in place, and this year is the beginning of that. So I would take a good look at NFTs and cryptos and stocks, and I would really consider taking money that isn't necessarily being used and investing in something like that after becoming aware. Because I can tell you, I'm not necessarily the most aware person, but I know when something big is possible. And right now, with this crypto/financial situation we're in right now, there's a lot of wealth that's on the table for common people. And it ain't gonna take a whole lot to generate that, I'll tell you. So just get educated and get your money ready, because it's coming. So that's what I gotta say, man. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.